Hey, this is Chris, and today we're going to take a look at the trailer for The Last Guardian, the third game from Team ICO out of Japan. These guys also made ICO and Shadow of the Colossus. Big fan favorites. Everybody's kind of looking forward to this one. I'm assuming that you've watched this trailer before, and a lot of it, while it kind of shows you, the art style and some of the characters from the game, it's still a bit mysterious as to exactly what you're going to be doing, how the game's going to be played. There's lots of hints, but we don't for sure see any actual gameplay in here. And so here comes the creature. One kind of cool thing that you'll notice here is that his eyes kind of change color a little bit, and you'll see that as the trailer goes on. At some point, you'll see his pupil, like up in this scene. It looks like it's all just one color, which is kind of a cool little thing. Maybe it shows you his mood. We don't know. We'll have to see how that goes on. But so here he goes, comes out, he shows his foot, which is very eagle-like, clawish. He's got the classic crow's foot of 3 feet or whatever. Now here comes the kid who, we're going to assume that this is who you're playing as in the game. And one thing you can kind of see here on his arms is he's covered with tattoos. Now the kid is, aside from the guards you're going to see here in a second, the kid is the only character in the game that's, human. And with all the tattoos going on, you got to assume that he's from a tribe, some kind of long-standing group of people or whatever, and they must be ceremonial tattoos or something of that sort. He looks like he's 12 or 13 years old probably. So here we go. Here's the guard in the game. You're going to see a bunch of these later on, but I'll pause it here so you can take a look at the intricate detail on his armor. Obviously, Team ICO's only ever worked on the PS2, so they had low texture rates, but here you can see pretty crazy amount of detail about what's going on with these guys. So here the kid almost falls in, and the creature comes out, and then here's where you learn, basically, where you get a full glimpse at him. I'll pause it right here so you can see him. So he's covered with feathers. He's got big ears like a mogwai, and a beak that looks maybe a little bit softer than an eagle. But and then something important to note is that he's got a bunch of arrows sticking out of him. You're going to see that through the entire trailer. I'll come back to that in a little bit here, but you can also see tiny little wings. Some people are thinking that maybe this guy's a baby, maybe he's older and they're cut off. I happen to think that he's a baby. You'll see here in a second. You can get a good look at 2 horns on his head. And here we go. The left one, or I guess his right, is cut off, whereas the other one is very short. It could be a full-grown horn, but it seems like that's probably not grown in yet. He's probably a child. And so now he's befriended this other kid, which is pretty cool. So then the kid climbs up on top of him, and which may give a hint as to some Shadow of the Colossus-esque climbing elements from the game. One kind of cool thing to note is that all the feathers are rendered individually and all are self-physics-based, which is pretty cool. Let me pause it right here and let's look at this scene that they're kind of looking out on. If you've played ICO and Shadow of the Colossus, it's pretty obvious to tell that the architectural building of all this stuff is pretty much identical, which leads me and pretty much everyone else in the world to believe that this is at least in the same world, even if it's not a direct sequel or prequel or what have you to the other 2 games. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed that this is part of the same universe here, which I think is very cool. Let me pause it right here so you can see the barrel breaking in the creature's beak right there. One kind of cool thing that came out of an interview with Famitsu, with Fumito Ueda, the director and overall overlord of Team ICO, is that all the barrels and the creature eating them is all physics-based. So that's not an animation. The beak bites down on the barrel and it breaks according to the physics routine, which is kind of cool. Here's the creature talking to the kid, whatever he's doing. Kid's throwing barrels at him. One other kind of cool thing that came out of the interview is the note that you will be playing with the creature the entire game, or most of it anyway, and you can kind of command him. Although he's not incredibly smart, he's maybe intelligence level of a dog or something, but you will command what he's doing. Now, one kind of cool thing to note out of this sequence here is, let me just pause it and kind of go through this, is that you can see the kids hiding from the guards. This, to me, shows more of what the gameplay is going to be like in the game than anything else. So you can see the kid climbing along the top here, the guard's down there at the bottom. Here he's climbing a chain. And then here he's being held by the guard, but he's not actually fighting him, he's just struggling to get away. Based on, let me go back here a little bit, based on the fact that the guard can't really see him right there, he's hiding from him here, and again, he's trying to hide here. It looks like this game's going to be very stealth-based, as opposed to, ICO was very puzzle-based, and you fought the Shadow. Shadow of the Colossus was all about taking down the Colossi. This game seems like it might be kind of a stealth game. You can see here he throws a barrel into the guard, knocks him down. He's all physics-based, which is pretty cool. So then you're going to have kind of defensive attacks to keep them away from you, but I don't think that you ever want to run up and take them on. So here's the kid running along, doing some classic platforming. again, probably a throwback to it's probably closer to playing like ICO than it is Shadow of the Colossus. But you do get that kind of, you know, with ICO you had ICO and Yorda, and Shadow of the Colossus you had, you know, your guy and the horse, and you know, Team ICO is kind of doing the same thing again with the kid and the creature here, kind of get that bond going through the entire game. One kind of cool thing, as I mentioned, that this winds out is that you can actually take the arrows out of the creature and you can feed him, so you kind of become kind of like this guy that you kind of care for in the game. We're not sure why he just left him in there while he's sleeping. Seems a little painful, but there you go. So that's a look at The Last Guardian. We all here are very excited about the game. Obviously, there's a lot to the trailer, and you know, maybe we'll get some more hints on how the game's going to be played very soon. For more information on the game, head over to IGN.com.